Welcome to the I Triumph Real Estate Blueprint Podcast, where greatness awaits you. So, what actually makes up the actual credit score, and how's that credit score actually calculated?
Yeah, man, the anatomy of the credit profile is very interesting, right? You kind of got some components, right? The biggest component is 35% of your credit score revolves around your payment history. You got to pay your bills on time, right? A 30 days late will cripple that score, especially if you got 30 days late, by 60 days late, 90 days late, you was behind on that car note, et cetera. I mean, that really damages your credit, to a place where it's hard to recover from that.
Right.
Especially if it's an active account, right? Your car note or your mortgage, you're late, because those things are harder to get off the credit report. But that's 35% of your score. So that's very important. Sometimes you might need to change your due date. If you know you're going to be late for whatever reason, 30 days late, you might need to ask them to change your due date so you're not 30 days late. But you got to address that as number one. Number two, 30% of your score revolves around your debt to income ratios, right? Or your activity rate. That basically means that you cannot exceed 30% of your available balance in the next billing cycle. So that means if you got $1,000 credit card, 30% of that is $300. So that means in November, you owe $500, and that goes into the billing cycle of December. That exceeds 30%. You got to pay that balance down. And the great thing about, how the scoring model works is you don't even have to pay it down to zero. You can just pay it down to 290, 295. Long as you're within that 30% range, it factors all one and the same. So that's number two. Thirdly, 15% of your score is your credit history. Most people pay things off and they close their accounts because they don't trust themselves, right? And so it's important that you got to look at your credit profile like a relationship. If there's been a long-standing history of trust and credibility, right, the relationship typically has better chemistry. That's the same thing with your credit profile. If you had a credit card for 10 years and you still maintained a balance below 30%, if somebody else is looking to loan you money, right, say, oh, okay, you've been responsible for 10 years, I can lend you money. Right. And then the other two, components of the credit profile is your credit mix. 10% is your credit mix, right? That's the school loans, that's the car note, that's the Macy's and the Home Depot cards, right? Not the mortgages and things of that such. And then the last 10% is your inquiries. You got to just manage, obviously, if you're looking for an apartment or you're shopping for a car, them inquiries can pile up. Don't play a big part. But really your payment history, man, and keeping the balances low. If you can master those two things, you're in a great situation.